Hello and welcome to another episode of Leave House, Head Home. I'm Shiloh, and today we're going to be going over which documents are needed to make Aliyah to get approved for that. Now, it's going to be different for every individual or family based on a bunch of things. We'll go over some of that, but I'm going to tell you what we need in my family to get approved. I'm also going to go over a quick update on our Aliyah status so you guys can follow along to where we are at. So, for starters, where we are in our document process to try to get approved. So, as far as documents uploaded to the portal, which is just keeping tabs on which documents you have, we are 43 out of 46 documents. I have one coming in the mail, and then the final two are connected to my wife's birth certificate, which had an error, and we sent in the documents to try to correct the error, but it can take some time. So as far as that, we're trying for an emergency route where if you send a letter from a healthcare provider saying that you need this birth certificate amended in order to provide services that are vital, this is the newest avenue we found. If we send that in, it may fast track my wife's birth certificate correction. And then that second document is the apostille. So let me quickly explain what an apostille is. It's basically another document that gets stapled onto your documents that certifies that it's authentic, essentially. And what you do is, let's say you have a birth certificate and you were born in New York, you would need to bring that birth certificate to New York or mail it in or pay a service to do it for you. They attach the apostille. They can do it on the spot. You just have to wait an hour or two. And then essentially you have that document that is needed. So that's where we are at. We're 43 out of 46. And in the process, I already presented my documents to the Jewish agency, who are the ones who approve you fully to become citizens. And there are three options how to get your documents, your original documents to them and get interviewed. Option number one, you FedEx your documents in and then you can do a Zoom appointment. I opted not to do that because my bundle of documents is so valuable to me and would cost me so much time to try to redo that. I would not risk putting it in the mail. Option number two, you show up, show them your documents, and then you have a Zoom interview with your family, and kids have to be present. That's what I did. So I showed them my documents. We're waiting for them to schedule that Zoom interview. And option three is you go with your documents in person, you schedule this interview all together, and you get it done in one shot in New York City. I brought in my documents, and now I'm waiting to schedule that interview. So number two, house sale. We're pretty much in a similar position. Our house has been under contract for a while, and we're hoping that for that all to work out and to be able to close just around the time that we are moving toward the mid to end of August. Finding an apartment. We have been searching really hard in the neighborhoods within Efrat that we want to move. We also looked elsewhere into other towns, but ultimately we chose Efrat. And we were looking for rentals for a while, and then there really wasn't anything available. People are trying to sell, and there's some nice things for sale, and we've been working on it. But it's definitely been, I wouldn't say a challenge, but it's taking time. For example, someone posted an apartment that was available. We sent our friend who's been helping us tremendously to go video and get a vibe of the apartment. And then we found out that the place they were moving to fell through and now it's not available. So we're just working the chats. We're speaking to agents. We are trying our best to find something either to buy or rent. We're leaning towards buying now because there are no rentals available, as well as we would have some more stability if we actually bought the right place. Next, we have schools. So my oldest daughter, she's 9, she has a school she's already enrolled. And the next step would be once we get a location, an address, we can enroll my 3-year-old in Gan. And finally, jobs and finances. Basically, my wife has a job in the States that she may be able to do some part of when we get to Israel, but we're definitely going to need some time to settle in. And she may possibly not work for a while until she is ready, which leaves the work to me. I'm a personal trainer and life coach. I'm going to take some of my clients on Zoom, and then I will build up a business in Israel, which is really dependent on two things about how aggressive I need to be to try to make this effort. If we buy a house there, we'll be using a lot of our house proceeds on that. If we rent, we will have more savings and a little more of a cushion to try to build up my business and give me some time to figure that out without being super stressed. That's where we're up to today. I want to add one sixth category, which someone asked me, and I also wanted to touch on that myself, which is selling, bringing your stuff, your furniture. Now, it's going to be different for everyone, what they want to do. For us, we have sold most of our furniture in an included package in the house, and the rest of the things we excluded, we will either bring or sell, depending on the place we get. If we rented an apartment that was fully furnished, we would probably sell most of the stuff that we thought we would bring. If we're buying an apartment and it's completely empty, we will try to ship some of our stuff. You can ship it in a full container and pay for a private container. You can ship it per pallet or per part. Everything you bring in is tax exempt, but you do need to pay for the shipping. And interestingly enough, there are two Christian organizations that will actually help pay in part for you to ship your stuff to the US. And about cars, we own one minivan that we plan on shipping in. It's not cheap. You actually have to pay some of the taxes on bringing in the minivan plus shipping. But because cars are expensive there, it's actually worth it for us to take our lovely Kia Carnival that we bought last year. And then I plan to buy a used car when I get there. So my wife and I each have a car. Without further ado, I bring you to the documents necessary for my family to make Aliyah, and it's going to be in 3 segments. So first you have general documents. We have 4 that we need. One of them is called a waiver of confidentiality. It's pretty simple. You fill out a standard waiver that they give you. Then they need our marriage certificate and an apostille on the marriage certificate, as well as a photograph of your family, which is easy enough. So that did not take so long. Then we have 3 kids under the age of 14. They each need 4 documents: a birth certificate, an apostille on the birth certificate, a passport, and finally a health declaration that is self-filled out. So that's not that difficult. So we are at 16 documents for my 3 kids and the general documents. The harder part was for the adults. So for myself, I'm just going to list through them just the same. We need a passport, a birth certificate, proof of Judaism, which is a letter from a rabbi that's affiliated with some kind of Jewish organization. Our rabbi is Chabad. It needs to be signed and dated, saying that he knows you to be Jewish and he knows you to be, born from Jewish parents and your affiliation with the shul. You need a health declaration. Again, that's self-filled out, very easy to do. You just print it, fill it out, upload it. You need to get new passport photos because you're going to get identification in Israel. So you need to print, you're going to need 5 photos for different IDs, your Israeli passport, your Teudat Zehut, and other things there. Something called an entry and exit form for every adult, basically trying to estimate how many times you were in Israel, when you left, when you came back. There is something called a personal status affidavit. That document, you also print out, you need to get it notarized, and then you need to get it pretty much certified at the county clerk, and then an apostille. So these type of documents, which there are several of them, are actually a little bit difficult because of how many steps. So you sign this document in front of a notary, then you bring it to your county clerk. For us, it's in Rockland County. Then you can take that and get an apostille finally for that document. And last but not least, you need a criminal background check and an apostille on that. So how this works is you fill out a form online for an FBI background check. Then you go into a post office and you can get fingerprinting done. Once you do that, it gets sent. And then in a few days, you get an email from the FBI with if you have any arrest records or if your record is clean. That's for any Ole over the age of 14 needs that. And then you need that apostille. So what you do there is you actually need to send it to I believe, Washington, D.C. So we used this service. We paid like maybe around $100, $120 all in, and we got that taken care of. So I'm going to go over my wife's necessities for her documentation, at least the ones that were different from what I had to do. So my wife was previously married, so she needed her marriage and divorce documents and apostilles on those two. She needed something called a declaration of family obligations and a declaration of unaccompanying parent of a child. So that is basically, those two are relating to our oldest daughter. She is from my wife's first marriage. So basically what we had to do is get approval from her father and get a signed form, as well as getting signing our own form explaining the situation. So that's something that you will need, a signature from the other parent that is in front of a notary and notarized. And those are the extra documents that my wife had to produce. And that is essentially it. That totals 46 documents. And, it definitely takes time, but you could knock it out. And I would suggest, again, do it early because you don't know what errors may come up. So if you're thinking about Aliyah, you can start to get these together. Now, keep in mind the FBI background check and certain documents are only valid for 6 months. So those you can wait until you really know your Aliyah timeline. And again, there are ways to pay money for an expedited service where someone will actually do all these apostilles for you, go into the city, go into wherever your documents are from. If you're from New Jersey, then you need to get an apostille from New Jersey. We were able to mail them in and do that. So that's the update for today. I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys learned something. Please like and subscribe. We're gonna have more videos, and I just want to say, for those people who work full-time, have a family, and actually have time to edit and create YouTube videos, it is harder than I thought. So please share the video if you liked it, and don't forget to leave your house and head home to Eretz Yisrael, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.